The fourth phase of the development cycle is the development/programming phase. This phase, we're going to basically add the logic and the programming to our pages. First off, establish your ADA accessibility. That's your Americans with Disabilities Act. Make sure all your pages are compliant for that. Add your alt tags to your images and other things that need to meet ADA requirements. Also, if you don't have any content set up yet, and you should have Greek mock-up text on your pages so we can see how that functions. Basically, it's a convention in its design. If the content's not ready, you put placeholder content as far as images and text in to see how that's going to look and how that's going to perform. After that, the second part of the development phase is implement the development framework. And there's three ways we can go with that. And that's basically how you're going to build your pages or environment. The first way is to set up a framework. And that could be Bootstrap or Foundation. There's other out there, but those are the two main players. And it's just a framework that you build templates and then add your templates into that framework, and those help with building responsive web pages. Those are pages that scale to the size of the device. Second way is CMS, Content Management System. And that's like WordPress. You would use the templates you created in the previous phase and add those to the WordPress to show how the layout and the look and feel would happen inside the CMS. The last way is just regular hard coding HTML and CSS. And that's what we're going to focus on in this class. We have future classes in our studies that will let you look at the frameworks of Bootstrap or the CMS. This class, we're going to hard code the HTML and CSS. After you figure out which framework you're going to use and get set up, you need to design your database if you will use one. Not all sites need to use a database, but many will. Multiple different types. There are MySQL, MySQL. That's a database you will find frequently with hosting packages you sign up for. It's a good mid-level database, and lots of successful websites use that. More enterprise level ones, you'd find SQL from Microsoft or Oracle as another enterprise level database. Both of these are for really large projects, and they require a lot of expense to set up and use. When you set up a database, you're going to define your tables, the relationships between tables, and then the way data is organized in the database. After you have the database set up, you're going to do programming, the functionality, or the logic. This is connecting databases to your site. Setting up secure logins, and secure transactions. There are other logical operations you'll do, but those are the main ones. After you do all this work, make sure you get paid for your second payment from the client. Take your second third of the cost. You've done a lot of work. You're really deep into the development of the website on this. Make sure you're getting paid. After that, you'll add your real content to all pages. You can do it two ways, really. One is to connect SQL queries to each page. One way to do it is connect SQL queries to each page from your database. That means you're going to write something in a language called SQL, which is SQL, and it'll say, if the page does this, then print certain fields from your database onto these pages. It looks like a normal page. The data is just coming from the database. Second way to add real content is hard code it. And that's basically just in the HTML and CSS on each web page, you're going to type in the text and or you're going to use image tags and multimedia tags to add those assets to each page on a manual basis. After you've added all your real content, you want to test site for performance. You want to test for one, functionality. Do the links work in all your navigation? Do the logic areas of your programming work? And second, you want to test on speed. It's basically page load time. Because you can set up really, really good programming, but if it's cumbersome and takes a long time for the page to load, it will not be a usable website. So you want to test for functionality, and you want to test for page load time. So that's the development phase, phase 4, and it's mainly the programming and logic side of the development along with adding your content to all your real pages.